The story begins in a small Missouri town, the kind of place where neighbors wave as they pass and kids ride their bikes freely down quiet streets. It was the kind of community where parents believed their children were safe, where trust bound the town together. But in October of 2002, that sense of safety was ripped away forever. On a sunny afternoon, 11-year-old Shawn Hornbeck disappeared without a trace. He had been riding his bike to a friend's house, but never made it. His family launched desperate searches. Police combed through woods, rivers, and neighborhoods, and the community united, praying for Shawn's safe return. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. His parents held on to hope, but the truth was far darker than anyone could imagine. Then, more than 4 years later, another boy, 13-year-old Ben Ownby, vanished after stepping off his school bus just a few miles from his home. This second disappearance sent shockwaves through Missouri, reviving fears of a predator lurking in plain sight. But this time, investigators got a break. A witness spotted a suspicious truck speeding away from the scene. That one detail would unravel a web of secrets and lead police to the most chilling discovery of all. Inside a small apartment, they not only found Ben alive, but Shawn Hornbeck too. This is the unbelievable true story of two boys, one who endured 4 years of captivity and another whose abduction brought everything crashing down. It's a case that exposes the darkest side of human nature, the manipulative mind of predator Michael Devlin, and the unbreakable hope of families who never stopped searching. Before we dive deep into this chilling and emotional story, make sure to subscribe, like, share, and comment below to support our channel. Your engagement helps us keep telling these important stories that must never be forgotten. The day Shawn Hornbeck disappeared was October 6, 2002. It was a mild Sunday afternoon in Richwoods, Missouri, a small rural town where everyone knew each other, and children were used to roaming freely without fear. 11-year-old Shawn was adventurous but responsible, a boy with bright eyes and a mischievous smile. He asked his parents if he could ride his lime green mountain bike to a friend's house just a few miles away. His parents, Pam and Craig Akers, agreed. It was nothing unusual, but Shawn never came back. When the sun began to set and there was no sign of him, panic began to creep in. His parents called friends, neighbors, and finally the police. They searched through the night, driving up and down back roads, shining flashlights into ditches and fields. The next day, helicopters scanned the area while search dogs tried to pick up his scent. The bike was found abandoned on a quiet road, lying on its side in a ditch. It looked like he had simply vanished into thin air. For Shawn's family, life shattered instantly. His mother remembers clinging to hope while fear gnawed at her heart. "He's my baby," she told reporters through tears. "We just want him home." Flyers with Shawn's face appeared in gas stations, supermarkets, and post offices across Missouri. Police conducted countless interviews, following every lead, but nothing led them to the missing boy. Weeks stretched into months, and though his parents refused to give up, the community slowly adjusted to the devastating idea that Shawn might never be found. What no one knew then was that Shawn was alive, but living a nightmare just a few miles away. On the day of his disappearance, Shawn had been approached by a man driving a pickup truck. That man was Michael Devlin, a 38-year-old pizzeria manager who looked like an ordinary, unremarkable member of society. But beneath his quiet exterior hid something far more sinister. Devlin lured Shawn into his truck, then struck him, subdued him, and took him to his apartment in Kirkwood, Missouri. There, he began years of psychological and physical abuse. At first, Shawn was terrified and resisted. He asked to go home, begged to see his parents, cried for his freedom. Devlin responded with threats of violence, telling Shawn that if he tried to escape, both he and his family would be killed. Slowly, through intimidation, manipulation, and calculated cruelty, Devlin broke him down. What emerged was something investigators would later call a psychological captivity. Shawn appeared to be living in the world. He was even seen in public with Devlin at times, but he was too terrified and brainwashed to reach out for help. For years, Devlin forced Shawn to live a double life. To outsiders, Shawn appeared like a shy boy living with his guardian. He sometimes rode his skateboard around the apartment complex, even spoke briefly with neighbors. But behind closed doors, he endured unimaginable abuse. Each day was a battle. To survive, each moment filled with fear that Devlin would snap and kill him. Meanwhile, Pam and Craig Akers never gave up. They founded the Shawn Hornbeck Foundation to help other families with missing children, clinging to hope that somehow their son might still be alive. They went on television, made public pleas, and searched tirelessly. In their hearts, they believed Shawn was still out there somewhere, waiting to be found. Then, on January 8, 2007, another boy vanished. 13-year-old Ben Ownby from Beaufort, Missouri. Ben had gotten off his school bus that afternoon, only a short walk from home, when a friend noticed a suspicious white truck speeding away. When Ben didn't come home, his parents immediately contacted police. This time, investigators had something they hadn't had with Shawn: a witness description of the vehicle. The search for Ben was swift and massive. The FBI joined local police, and within hours, the case was treated as an urgent child abduction. Roadblocks were set up, neighborhoods canvassed, and the description of the white truck was broadcast across Missouri. 4 days later, investigators traced a lead to an apartment complex in Kirkwood. There, parked outside, was a white pickup truck matching the witness's description. The truck belonged to Michael Devlin. Police approached the apartment cautiously. Inside, they found Ben sitting quietly on the couch. Relief washed over investigators. Ben was alive. But then, in the next room, they made the discovery that stunned the world. Another boy was sitting there, older, with longer hair and cautious eyes. It was Shawn Hornbeck alive after 4 years of captivity. The news spread like wildfire. Shawn's parents received the phone call they had been waiting for all those years. Pam Akers screamed, collapsed, and sobbed uncontrollably when she heard the words, "We found Shawn. He's alive." Craig rushed to see his son, who had been stolen from them for nearly half a decade. Their reunion was emotional beyond words. For years they had feared the worst, yet here he was shaken, changed, but alive. Investigators later pieced together the full story of Shawn's captivity. Devlin had manipulated and threatened him into submission, creating an environment where escape seemed impossible. At times, Shawn had been seen in public, even had access to a phone and the internet, but the psychological chains Devlin wrapped around him were too strong. He lived in constant fear that any attempt to reach out would lead to his death or the murder of his family. Michael Devlin was arrested and later charged with multiple counts of kidnapping and assault. In court, the details of his crimes shocked the nation. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, ensuring he would never harm another child again. For Shawn and Ben, the road to recovery was long and painful. Shawn, especially, struggled to reintegrate into normal life after years of manipulation and abuse. He had lost his adolescence to a monster who pretended to be his guardian. Yet through therapy, the support of his family, and the strength that had kept him alive through those years, Shawn slowly rebuilt his life. The case became a symbol of hope for families of missing children everywhere. It showed that even after years of silence, a child could still be found alive. It also highlighted the importance of never giving up, of clinging to hope even in the darkest times. The story of Shawn Hornbeck and Ben Ownby is one of survival, tragedy, and triumph. It is a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit, the cruelty of predators, and the power of community and law enforcement working together to bring children home. Thank you for watching this documentary on the shocking and emotional case of Shawn Hornbeck and Ben Ownby. Their story reminds us why we must remain vigilant, why hope must never be abandoned, and why the fight for missing children must continue every single day. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss another powerful story. For our returning viewers, thank you for your constant support. Please like, share, and comment below with your thoughts. Together, we can keep these stories alive and ensure that the victims are never forgotten.